So we are starting to commence the second phase of communication, with regrets having not even been able to formulate an intelligent design to the first phase, opening of speech due to a paltry sum of money in relation to, of course, the unquestioned trillions of dollars that are now going to be allocated and consumed toward your security after 19 little Arabs boarded 4 planes that you had difficulties with and possibly were ready to board a handful of others. My assessment, the security in place in the United States was more than adequate not only to intercept what occurred, but allowed this lapse for profiteering and special interests. In the United States or in Washington, D.C., everyone is familiar with what special interests are number one in the United States in the hearts and minds of all of your politicians and congressmen who have been all payola to the hill to receive a bunch of muck to provide the American. I, as a patriot, tend to go against this coalescence of garbage and destroy all of them. They need destruction. They know it. There's nothing in them except how much they can pocket, how much they can pilfer. They're not politicians, they're club members. They've created an ecclesiastical comprehension of their own marvelous value, which is minuscule in proportion to the destructions they have created to our original Constitution in this country. Number 2, most imperative of all, since all of them are all bought, you are sold out as individuals. You have no chance of surviving listening to them babble on, because as they babble on, B-A-U-B-L-E, or bobble, B-A-B-L-E, it's like B-A-B-Y-L-O-N, Babylon. For those that have a religious affiliation with needing the Bible to answer all questions for them. Now, going into the Bible, it's completely ludicrous for you to waste your time consuming a Bible that takes extrapolations and states, oh, this now has arisen because it appears that this fits. I am the man who is the perfect match to fit in the millennium. I have been for quite a period of time. Well, I have been mocked and joked, whether from Washington, D.C. to Newport Beach, and hideous individuals overseas that I at one time or another had some form of financial dealings or lack of reward for the financial dealings. Now, I spent a number of years coaching you people, making you brilliant and astute in many directions, and of course I have to understand that a lot of that brilliance came from communication from other people that educated me. So somewhat of a tit for tat, unless you're not accelerating or getting any kind of respect for the efforts that you've made, which is unfortunately true at this present time. What's going to have to happen is a lot of adjustments are going to have to be made. But this is as close to a military takeover as you're ever going to say. And since our media is controlled by a select, sadistic, eternally perverted minority, they will have to be dealt with in any and every fashion to get this country able to think on an intellect basis, not be scrambling for numbers like, is 9/11 the same as 911? Or is it 911? Or what is it? Well, when one man is providing you all of those answers at any time, then you had best listen to that person. Now, I've seen how stupid people will be at interviews, how they'll deviate from what the communication is supposed to have as far as involvement. So I will make these presentations to you. I will make them, I will answer what you need to know. What you'll need to know also for your survival. What you'll need to know about a planned, orchestrated invasion which has occurred in the United States from these United Nations, 189 third world mungers, or mongrels, or whatever you want to constitute them, that you're so benevolently allowing to flood this country. You are built on one basis and one basis alone. But it is not a hooligan Christianity basis that is only the representation, as they seem to say, whether it's Protestant or Roman Catholic at this time today in the United States. You have your Hebrews suffocating everybody in this country, stopping everything when it comes to their so-called religious holy days. Well, their holy days are days that they stated they escaped from this, escaped from that. Only one man with a paramount intellect escaped everything. That was 007, myself. That nullifies all the great escapes of these Jews in history, and that's why they are so anathema to my being presented forward and intelligent communicate to this country. They look like complete baboons and fools instead of trying to placate themselves as heroes, as they've raped our financial system, made sure to manipulate every one of our politicians into their desired goals, and of course call upon any of the military or satellite evasions necessary to continue a strangulation of us as Americans. We're not responsible for their own inept, perverted actions over in Europe in World War II, yet they seem to want to strangle people who are Caucasian males for their own benefit, maybe principally because they know they're not as easy to guide around as these other ethnic groups that they've coalesced with for their slave labor camps that they have to manufacture their products overseas, allowing X amount of them to come in here, create more disruption and less representation for what was a specific majority in the United States. You're going to see a time bomb. The time bomb will go 1955, clock 1972. The two are correspondent even to the movie Shoeless Joe Jackson, as the years 1955 and 1972 proved to be very paramount. In 1955, you had most of the United States run by males, Caucasian, and things ran with pretty good symmetry, and people ran themselves on the ground, but they did it with some hope and acquiescence for each other. Today there is none of that. Number two, you have people just flooding in this country. First with these Vietnamese, after this debacle over in Vietnam. Now we've got Vietnam over in Garden Grove, California. It's just incredible. It's their own indiscriminate discrimination of how they want things. Then we have the Cambodian problem next to Laos, so now we have Cambodians flooding Long Beach. But these are Cambodians. They are Vietnamese. They are not Americans. They are not patriots. They don't give a damn about the United States except they can usurp it, as they've been doing, as the Jews have been doing, and they've been flooding us, these Jews, out of Russia and out of other areas here, and they're of course set for their elitist jobs as they have manipulated all the government contracts, all the higher education positions, all the admissions at minimal cost or endowments, grants, or whatever to their own perverted existences. Since they have been extremely disrespectful of me, it will be taken and noted in time. This is an opening sequence. When I go in the time bomb, everything gets very specific, down to the millennial 1,000th of a second. You won't see one person ever do this again. Don't make a statement like a woman made one time. She says, "Oh, but why did it have to be you?" Yes, why couldn't it have been somebody else? Or why don't you read somebody else's book about how their interpretations are? Those are all ended. All that chaos in your mind is ended. All the stupid contusions and confusions that you've been willing to live in and believe in will be kaput, gone. You'll try to get a systematic coordination of effort among yourselves, not your isolationist ethnic groupings that you have here today. And I recognize it as a white man that I am really forbidden to be communicating in this country along these guidelines, because white, as in male, is not right. Have a good evening, day, or whatever. I'll open communication later. Thank you.